In this first episode, we'll be talking about knowing your market. A big thing that I noticed that when you're trying to learn how to be a reseller is that trying to understand the audience and where you can sell it. To kick it off, there are many options. One, you could be selling online. Online has definitely boomed with the COVID being a thing in this last year. So selling online has been a lot safer for a lot of people. Locally is also another way, or maybe a specific buyer that wants a shoe and a lot of jobs. So finding which one of those three is really important to you. Online can be really good for you if you're a really busy person and don't have a lot of time to be, going, meeting up with people and, connecting with people. Online might be your route because, less time to devote to trying to get the shoe to the people, but you still are able to sell the shoes. Locally, usually it also works as well. A lot more deal making and made in person. It's a lot, depending on the apps they use to try to find your local buyers. Locally is for the people that like to have those connections, to try to talk to people and they have a lot more time on their hands to be able to make those local deals. And maybe a specific buyer that comes with the connection that you get either through online or locally, and over time maybe they continuously like to buy shoes from you and they'll keep doing it as a habit because they like the way you work. So now that we got past that part, next up we'll be talking about the different platforms. In terms of the platforms that you can use, I'll pull this up into my computer screen. If you can see here, we have StockX. StockX is definitely one of the most renowned sneaker selling platforms in the world. It is also one of the first ones that came out because of all the services that they provide. If you click here, you can see already right here, you can see all the prices that you can buy at with the seller setting the price and also the highest bids. If you click it, there, you can see all the prices that are kind of set for each of the shoes, which I think is fairly easy to look at. And if you go back, you can see all the bids right here. So you can kind of see both what people want to set the price at and also what people are willing to pay at. As you go lower, you can see the shoe itself along with the SKU code, the retail, the release date, and then also a little bio about the shoe itself. What I really like about StockX is that you can see this graph right here. This graph kind of tells you the dips and the highs of the shoe itself. As you see, it kind of, after release date, it started dipping. And also you can see the sales and also the average sale price. Another thing that StockX is really good about is that they can authenticate your shoe. Whether you're selling or buying a shoe, when you send it in, they're able to tell you if the shoe is real or not. So I think it protects both sides. Of course, people have had issues with StockX in the past, but the majority of people have been okay with it. The only thing maybe is that StockX takes a hefty price for the services that they require, in terms of checking the shoe. So I'd say be careful when you're selling a shoe. Know that they do definitely take a decent percentage of your shoe and before you sell it. Next up, we got GOAT. GOAT is fairly similar to StockX, but just the layout is a little different, but they do the same thing. They're able to authenticate your shoe in order to make sure that both sides, in terms of seller and buyer, are doing well. A big feature that I think actually that sets GOAT apart from everyone else is actually you can sell used pairs and also GOAT clean pairs. As you can see, the Volts have not actually had a GOAT clean pair, but pretty much you can sell used shoes. It's fairly safe for both sides to buy these pairs because it's been legit checked. I think that's really cool because, of course, for example, I have pairs that I wear and I'd be like, dang, I actually don't like it as much anymore. I want to sell it. You can still be able to sell your used pairs on GOAT. Just another reminder though that GOAT does take fees in terms of selling and also buying. So it may not be as much as StockX, but it's still a hefty fee. Grailed is another spot. Grailed is something I use actually to buy a lot of my shoes in the very beginning when I started getting into sneakers. You actually can negotiate with people one-on-one, which GOAT and StockX doesn't allow you to do. You can't negotiate with a person in terms of texting, but actually it's very protected because they have a lot of safety features set up in the text so that you actually can't kind of share your phone number and so on. So trying to protect the buyers and the sellers. The whole reason why they do that is that whenever if anything bad happens, they're able to go through the chat and see exactly what happened in the transaction. In terms of this, I would just say it's very cool that you're able to negotiate with people, and yeah, I think it's just a little different version of StockX and Grail. Next up, we got eBay. eBay has been very interesting. eBay was at the very beginning when people were starting reselling before StockX existed, and here they are now, and they finally brought in their authentication system. I'd say eBay, you have to be careful because as you can see here, you have all these Jordan 1s, but the only ones that actually authenticity is guaranteed are these ones with the blue checks right next to it. These pairs I'd say is safe to buy because they're able to guarantee that it's a real pair. All these other pairs, you have to be definitely very careful because these pairs could be fakes, and by the time you get it, there's not a lot you can do about it. You can possibly open a ticket in terms of buying and selling, but I'd say be careful. And I'd say in terms of selling for eBay, I definitely say one most important thing is building up a reputation, kind of like how many people you've sold and buy to. The more and more you do it, the more reputation you build on eBay, and I've seen that a lot of people that have a big reputation on eBay, they're able to sell a lot faster than people that haven't sold a lot on eBay. Another thing you got is these Facebook groups. For example, one of my local ones, LAOC Sneakers Los Angeles. Here you go. You see all these different types of shoes being posted. This is actually a very nice place to sell, I think. Personally, I like to use these type of places to sell because one, I like to negotiate with people. I like to connect with people about shoes. Also, it cuts out all the fees that StockX, GOAT, Grail all takes from you. I don't actually like paying those fees, so this is a great place for me to sell. Also, I'd say just be really safe in terms of selling because making sure that one, you're being safe, also that you don't get scammed, and just on both sides making sure that the shoes are legit and also the money's legit. So I'd say find your local Facebook groups. All you have to do is certainly just type up sneaker groups in your area, and boom, it's pretty easy. They'll usually make you sign up through a form. Just make sure that you're a legit person and you know what you're talking about. Lastly, one of the big groups I'm a part of is actually Bro Sneaks. Bro Sneaks is a raffle sneaker group, and I absolutely love what they do. If you look here, I'll show you an example. As you can read here, it's the Purple Lobster and Off-White Sales 5s. These are being put up for at $30 for 47 spots. Pretty much what happens is that the seller will put up how many spots and how much each spot is. Everyone in the group is able to call a spot. For example, I can call number 4, as you can see right here. And if I call number 4, once they start collecting the money, I pay $30. What happens then is that the admins will come in, they'll go on a live stream, and they will put in the number, they'll get on random.com and get numbers 1 through 47 and generate a random number. That number will actually become the winner of one of these shoes. I think it's absolutely awesome because you can win some absolute fire shoes for a very low price. Of course, there's a lot of money that you can make in terms of selling shoes. Some shoes you can sell definitely on the higher side, but I do warn you, do not completely overkill it. For example, don't go in there with the Jordan 1 mid band and try to sell it for $500. While technically there's no rules against putting it up at that price, it's going to be very hard for people to fill it up because at the same time, people are going to look at it and be like, dang, that costs way too much money. I'm not going to pay that much per spot to try to get a Jordan 1 band mid. So just a reminder there, there's no rules against it. Do just be mindful of that aspect of selling it on here. As you can see though, I'm wearing the Bro Sneaks, so shout out to them for giving me this t-shirt. But also, I'd say it's actually relatively safe also to buy and sell here because they have insurance where they will pay out, the winner, for example, if the shoes never come through, and also the buyer in terms of anything goes wrong on that side. So Bro Sneaks is an absolute fantastic group to be a part of in terms of buying and selling. Before we close off the video, I'd like to go over some shoes that I believe that hold value in terms of whether it being a retro, Jordan 1. I believe certain shoes will tend to hold value, so it's a safer bet in terms of investing if you're not really into flipping as fast as possible every time you get a pair. To start off, one shoe I do believe that held value fairly well is this Jordan 1 Liquid Green. In my opinion, most Jordan 1s tend to hold a lot of value because they almost always sell out, very classic looking silhouette, and they just always seem to go up. Some shoes I've seen sitting in the Champs, Foot Lockers, they're already like $230, $40 depending on the sizing. This pair in specific was sitting around maybe $200 to $210 depending on the size when it first released. It's definitely on the briggy side, being about $180 to $190 to buy this shoe. And now it's already going up to $230 to $40 to $50 and slowly climbing over time. I'll show you the graph right here. Yeah, I think that this shoe is a good example of how Jordan 1 has the potential to grow. Many Jordan 1s follow this trend if they start on the low side. Another one is the Navy Midnights. I'll show you another graph right here. That's another good example of a shoe that's grown over time. And yeah, so that's it for the Jordan 1s. I'll show you another shoe real quick. Another pair of shoes that I think that people slept on and when it was first released are actually these 95 Air Max OG Neons. This pair of shoes is actually relatively easy to get if you just put a little work in. These pairs were going about $180, but this shoe is actually already going for like $250 right now. I'll leave the graph right there. As you can see, the profits on these shoes are actually relatively fire, but a lot of people slept on these shoes when it came out. So understanding that some of these OG colorways and these reminiscent retro shoes are actually very worth a lot of money. So I'd say that understanding that this shoe was worth money was very important, at least for me, in terms of copying a couple of these and making a nice profit on each of these pairs. Overall, of course, you have your collaboration shoes, like your off-whites. Those shoes will always be profitable. So also just recognizing that when a collab comes up, put some importance on it because everyone knows that that shoe will be of the utmost importance of trying to cop that shoe in terms of making profit. Well, thanks guys. I just want to say thank you for the support. Like and subscribe. Hit me up on social media. I'll put it right there. And yeah, this is the end of the first video. I'll continue to try to teach you guys as much as reselling as I know. But yeah, I'll catch you guys next time.